behind me standing up is the colonel, you know. But I'm right down here on the belly of the tank with the sight that I can feel everything happening. And, you know, you can feel a lot more down there than you can in the tank commander's hat. And I got on the radio, I told him, I said, Buckwheat, watch it now. Be careful, baby. I said, this son of a bitch is slipping. I can feel it down here. It wasn't big shit. It wasn't 2-3 minutes later, that damn rice dike, we were still moving. The rice dike gave, and the goddamn tank slid this way. And it was sitting on an angle like that, and I could hear it. Because I right down there on the hull, it folded that damn track on the right side right up under the hull. It come off, you know. That ain't good, Bubba. That ain't good. Colonel, the tank's sitting like this on the rice dike. There's another rice dike full of human manure and shit and all. And it's sitting just like this, and the damn water and shit's up to the fenders. Colonel made an awful mistake. He jumped off the tank. He gonna check the damage out. Well, I can tell you what the fucking damage is. You know, the track's off on the right side. We gotta have a tank retriever or something. We ain't going nowhere, you know. He jumps off into shit up to here in that rice dike, and he's wilding around. Now he is mad. He got all this shitty water and shit up on him. He is mad now, you know. Buckwheat's standing up there. He's holding on to the main gun because the tank's sitting like this, you know. He's the motherfucker responsible for this, you know. And Colonel's pissed off now because he done got mud and shit and all over him, manure. He said, what the Sam hell you think we're going to do now? The goddamn track's off. And he just raised an hell. I ain't said nothing. I crawled up through the tank commander. What the hell you think we're going to do now? How are we going to get this goddamn track back on? Buckwheat says, I don't know, sir. You, the colonel, order that motherfucker back on. God damn. Oh, damn, here he come, wading through the trying to get to Buckwheat. Buckwheat's running around the turret. Yeah, you, the colonel, to order that son of a bitch back on, you know. Well, he left, and he left us in there. And, of course, we had to get a tank retriever to run the cables out and pull the tank back, pull the track back and shit, and put that, it was dark. And we were just going back to our little base camp in the field. We weren't going all the way back, you know. I told him, Buckwheat, you awful, man. And we got out there that time, and we were sitting about 8 football fields away. And that's when that big tree I was telling you about, that motherfucker was huge. It was sitting out there in the middle of this rice paddy. It was from here probably to the pond away from the wood line, you know. And then there was clear ground in the wood line. Buckwheat's raising hell about this fucking tree, you know. And behind us, about 200 meters back, is this goddamn Vietnamese cemetery. And Buckwheat ain't happy about that fucking cemetery, because he said all them motherfuckers might not be dead, you know, which is true, because a lot of times they raise up out of make-believe graves, and it wasn't no grave, and people, you know. So, but our perimeter didn't go into the cemetery, you know, but it was on the outskirts on the back side of it. So he raising hell about this tree. He said, well, they'll use that damn tree as an aiming point because it was huge. You couldn't reach it. 2 or 3 people couldn't reach it. This motherfucker was huge. Everybody was dead that was standing out there. So I got thinking about, when we were out there supporting the infantry, I got thinking about this tree, and I said, you know, I didn't tell Buckwheat, but I said, you know, he may have a point. They could use that. As big as that son of a bitch is, they could use it at night as an aiming point, you know, go so many degrees. I said, I said, Buckwheat, is the tree bothering you? Is that damn tree bothering you? Of course, the loader and the gunner are standing there, you know. I said, if the tree's bothering you, I'll get rid of the tree. You want me to get rid of the tree? But it need to go. It need to go, Sarge. All right. All right, we'll get rid of the tree. If it'll shut you up, we'll get rid of the tree. We dropped down there. I said, Gunner, tree, HE round, range, 800 meters. I heard up. That means the loader's got it loaded. He's got the high explosive loaded. Up. I hear identified, and I said, fire. 1, 2, 3, boom. The tank fired. Well, it hit the tree right about at the bottom. And it shook it, and it kind of tilted. But it didn't come down. But it tilted. I was still adjusting the sight. I said, raise 1 mil. Raising 1 mil, Sarge. Range 800 meters. Heat round. Heat round. That's high explosive anti. It goes in and then explodes. That motherfucker shattered that goddamn tree. It hit up about that high up. It just shattered it. But the smoke ain't even, I ain't calling nobody, because, I mean, there ain't no sense in calling nobody and telling them I'm going to shoot, because they're going to say, no, don't shoot at the tree. So they just don't call. So this lieutenant from the infantry jumps up on the front fender of the tank. What the hell are you doing? And all Buckley, you know. This motherfucker is down there right at the front. And he's the cause of this shit, you know. But, but the lieutenant says, what the hell, what the FAML you think you're doing, Sergeant? You're just going to shoot at any goddamn thing that moves? You ain't going to call nobody? You just shoot at it? Is that the way you think you're going to get through this war? That did it. I got my helmet off and put it down, and I said, let me tell you one thing, sir. Now, that's a lie. That's a black lie to say that I'll shoot at anything that moves. That's a black lie. And I protest that. Buckley's standing there, his eyes this big, you know, out of the black side. I said, let me tell you one damn thing, Lieutenant. This is my 3rd tour in Vietnam. The first tour with the infantry. And you want to know how I made it to my 3rd tour? And that's a black lie to say that I'll shoot at anything that moves. That son of a bitch just has to act like he might move, and I'll pull the trigger. There he went. Buckley said, that's telling him, Sarge. I said, shut up, Buckley. You're the cause of all this shit. That motherfucker just has to act like he might move, and I'll pull the trigger. You know, he don't have to move. The buckwheat in that bunch was the ones that waited for us on that, when we're coming back from the little village where the colonel said they wanted to send him a message. And we were about a day, almost a day and a half late. So I figured they'd gone, you know. And I was only 24 years old then. I was the 3rd oldest tank commander in the battalion.
The village that, you know, burnt for days?
Well, everything got straightened out. We had to, see, if they would let me go up there and deal with John Boehner and the Congress and shit, I believe I could get this straightened out. I could send them a message, and I believe that everything be all right. And we never had no problems with that village again.
Because it didn't exist.
Well, you know. The colonel said, the goddamn village chief is dead. I said, really? He said, don't stand there and act stupid to me. Tell me something. I'm telling you. We went in, we negotiated things, we did what we had to do, we sent a message, it's peaceful, and dead men don't tell no lies, sir. What am I going to tell Saigon? That's Westmoreland. What am I going to... What would you like my message to be to the Pentagon? I just sent them 2 words, sir. Mission accomplished. Said all in and all done. Yes, sir, you're through. We're moving on. You've been gone 4 days. You were supposed to come back here. You told me, sir, but. I did just what, there I had that big manual. Here's what 22-5 says. Obey your last order first. Last order, get the job done and send them a message. There was no order for me to come back with all the others. My last order was send them a message. I believe, sir, they got the message. I believe they've got the message. There's 100 square miles of shit burning in the house. Somebody needs to call the fire department. Of course, there was no fire department, you know. When do you think that shit will go out? Well, when it hits the South China Sea, I guess. I don't know. You know, I give up when. Monroe, goddamn. And can I ask you one question, Monroe? Now I'm talking serious now. Can I ask you one question? Yes, sir. You're the battalion commander. Yes, sir. What in Sam hell am I going to do with you? I said, can I ask a question, sir? Yeah, it's an open discussion. What are you going to do without me? You're dismissed, Sergeant. Thank you, sir. And I stayed right on that tank. Right up there behind that 50. I had a second lieutenant. I'll tell you what happened. And me and Buckwheat were pretty, even though he said I was crazy, but that motherfucker was crazy too. I mean, he wasn't no, he wasn't no professor of psychology. But, we're coming back out of the Ashaw Valley, which ain't no, that is not no goddamn resort area. Trust me. That elephant grass, well, you've seen pictures of how big a tank is. And that elephant grass so high, you just see the top of the antennas moving through. You can't even see the fucking tank. That's how high it is. It's as high as this house or higher. And nobody wanted to go there because elephant dinks, they got to be within 50 to 75 yards, depending on what they're firing. For an RPG-2, they got to be within 50 yards to fire, but they could be within 50 goddamn feet, and you can't see them, you know. But you can't see the tank next to you. All you see is this little antenna. Well, we come back. In what they call herringbone, we're always traveling herringbone formation, always. Which means that this tank, his main gun is off this way. This tank's main gun is off this way. And it goes on back, and the lead tank, his gun is dead center. The one in the back, the one bringing up the rear, his gun is turned around, the turret and all is turned around to the rear to cover the back, and so we don't get hit. And he usually drops back from here to the road or further from the convoy to make sure nothing hits him from the rear. You know, you got the turret around to the back, and you can go left or right, or you can go down. We go left or right, you know, because they're not usually going to hit you right from the road. They're going to hit you from one side or the other. Well, the 50 caliber in Vietnam now, this ain't the way it was designed, but in Vietnam, the 50 caliber is supposed to go inside this little bitty turret that's up on top of the big turret, you know, and it turns independent. But because we were up on the DMZ, we had